Visit atwsource.com to take the next step along your path of awakening. You're listening to Awakening Truth, worldwide radio, and its network of radio shows, presented by the teachers of Awakening Truth Worldwide, where spirituality, truth, and consciousness collide.
Welcome to the Adronis Morning Show with your host, Brad Johnson.
Good morning and happy Friday to each and every single one of you. Thank you very much for tuning in to the Adronis Morning Show. I am your host, Brad Johnson, and we have a very exciting guest that's going to be part of the Adronis Morning Show, who I'm just going to bring in here in just a minute. First, I'm just going to give a brief introduction to who we have on the show today. His name is Rob Gauthier, and he is the official channel for a being known as Treb Bor Yit NE. I hope I pronounced that right. But he's a benevolent reptilian hybrid being. There's actually been several videos of the Treb Channeling through Rob's own YouTube channel. And there's just a lot of exciting information that's coming through in regards to Treb, as I've experienced quite a few of these particular videos that Rob has put up. And so it's going to be a great opportunity for me today to speak to Rob relating to Treb. And later on, we're going to be going into a live Treb channeling. And so you guys can actually call in later on if you have a question for Treb. The guest call-in number is 323-679-0927. That's 323-679-0927, and that will be at the latter half of the show. So anyways, I'm going to go ahead and bring in our special guest today. Rob, thank you so much for joining us, and welcome to the Adronis Morning Show.
Well, thank you for having me. I'm really excited to be here today.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for being here as well. So let's get started in regards to the beginning. How did this all begin for you in regards to how you discovered Treb, and what brought forward the idea of you wanting to get into the channeling state to pursue that?
Well, it's kind of a long story, so we'll start at the beginning. I had a disconnection in my life for quite some time. For about 8-year period stretch, I was really depressed, really low. I was at the bottom of my entire life, and I never thought I could climb my way out. And finally, with the love of my family and friends, consistent support of everybody, I pulled my way out of that hole. And when I finally got there, I started seeing things in a new light, like I hadn't seen since I was a child. The trees became beautiful again. The animals were more than just pets. They were beings, and they were friends, like children. Everything just started becoming really vibrant, really beautiful. My whole existence completely changed. And during this time, I needed a deeper understanding of life. I was raised in a Christian family. There was a lot of Christian beliefs in there. And some of it resonated with me, some of it didn't. I always believed in a God. I always believed in a creator. I just didn't know, anything about that. So I went and looked, and there was a church that was called a spiritualism church, which is basically a belief system that they're able to contact people who have passed on to connect with them, to prove that there's an afterlife and that there's a God. And that kind of interested me, so I looked into it, and I went to a couple of the sessions, or the things that they had there in the morning, their recessions. So I went there, and I talked to a few guys, and I got a reading, and this reading was so accurate. It described things about my son that none of them had knew. It described things about my family that I didn't even know until I had to double check with my father, people that were 3 or 4 generations back. So it really meant something to me. It resonated real well with me. And I was interested in starting to do that. So a couple of the people there who were mediums started teaching me how to meditate and told my mind quietness was the key to getting it. So they teach me meditation. I start doing meditation. And I did it for probably 6 or 8 months, really strong every day. I did it like eating food, you know. I considered it something I had to do several times a day, spiritually, 3 times a day. And when I wasn't, I was doing a mindfulness technique where I close my eyes and I just feel the energy around me. And I would do that literally every time I didn't need my eyes. And I kept doing that. And I finally hit a wall. You know, there was nothing more in my meditation I could get. So I started using some of the sound wave meditations, like the HemiSync program that they have out there. I got into that one for a while. I did the Gateway Experience, which was a 4-month. It took me 4 months, even though I rushed through it probably too much. But I went through that, and I got a new level of meditation completely. One night I was having a rough night. My whole life I loved astronomy, the stars, and every time I'd go outside, you know, I've got all these new emotions, all these new feelings since I stopped being disconnected from myself. And I had one of those evenings, so I went into a meditation to recenter myself and to gather myself again. And when I did, I had like an astral projected state where I met Treb, like face to face. It was a realistic meditation more than anything that I ever had, you know. And he talked to me and told me he knew me, that he was related to me in some way, and he told me a lot of things about what I thought I knew I didn't, and he explained a few things in real simple terms, you know, obviously not knowing any of the terminology, explained it in a way I could understand it.
Right.
As this happened, I got done. I told my wife. She thought I was crazy. I thought I was crazy, honestly. I had never really got into channeling or anything like that. I'd only heard about meditation and contacted people that passed. So I did this over and over and over again, and I kept connecting with them. And as I did, I began to develop a friendship with them. And it took 2 years of getting to know them because, like I said, I was disconnected just about a year before I really started looking into these things and starting finding myself. So it was hard for me to trust other people. I didn't have that in me yet. So I wanted to test this person. You know, I wanted to test this entity that I'm meeting in a meditation because I hear so many horror stories, especially in the spiritualism church and their belief systems, with how they see evil, good, bad spirits, good spirits. So I really had to test them. And it took me about 2 years. And everything that I learned, my life got so much better in that 2 years. I mean, complete change from separation and wanting to get connected to me feeling better than I had in my whole life. And I wanted to share this gift. Back when I first met Treb, I asked him about, you know, how do you show me that you're true? How do you show me that you're not just a figment of my imagination? He said, well, talk to one of your friends, Scott. This is an old friend I've had since we were little kids, 4 years old. Me and him grew up together. He's like my brother. And he said, talk to him. Don't tell him about me, but just talk to him. And I go and I talk to him. He shows me a video, and I can't remember what video it was exactly, but it had something about Seth material in it, and it also had something about Law of One. And for some reason, the Seth material kind of stuck out to me. So I go back and start checking these things out, and almost word for word what Seth is saying in his material is what Treb was telling me, just from a different perspective, a different view. It was the exact same information, just given differently. And I knew right there that he was trustworthy, a good connection, and I wanted to share that information. I knew it was possible because I seen this lady, this Jane Roberts woman, channeling this Seth entity, and I'm like, I want to do that. I want to be able to share this information, you know, with no filter, no going between. And Treb taught me how to do that. He gave me a couple little tips, and I started studying into it. I read a lot of material about how to do channeling and how to connect, and I made up a couple things, and it was a pretty rough process at the beginning of them. If you hear my first channeling ever, it's just, wow, there's so much difference till then to now.
Well, it's very interesting because pretty much exactly how you described yourself getting into channeling was pretty much the same way that I got into it. Because, again, it was very similar experiences like that. I had to create an online community, and I had to talk to a lot of these other psychics, these mediums, these channels themselves, and they were actually teaching me as well, too, in regards to channeling. And I started doing automatic writing. I started connecting with other beings as well, too. And it wasn't until December of 2008 that a friend of mine gave me a hint to connect with Sirius, and that's when I connected with Adronis. And my kind of, like you were saying that you met Treb face-to-face in the astral state, was very interesting as well too, because I actually just went out into my balcony and just made a request, to the universe, saying that, if you're really out there, is there any way that you can prove, you can show me, give me some sort of confirmation that you're out there. 10 to 15 seconds later, a little star wiggled right out of the sky and just shot all the way across the sky within 30 seconds. I said, okay, that'll do it for me, because out of all the times that I went out there, just hundreds of times on my balcony, I never once saw anything like that. And it was so just amazing. After I sent this telepathic transmission, it was Adronis literally just answering me and shooting this star right across the sky with me. I'm like, oh my goodness, that's it. And my wife at the time thought I was crazy as well too. So yeah, and that's exactly how it is. And that's a very good, remarkable story for a lot of people who are just wonderful, amazing, genuine channels. That actually have this particular experience. They never really thought they would get into channeling. I never thought, like if you were to ask me 4.5 years ago, if I was to get into this, I never thought, are you crazy? No, I would never get into this. And so I did. So it's just the whole idea that's really what stands out in regards to the remarkable channeling. Now, in regards to Treb, when you discovered that he was a reptilian humanoid, has there been other people that had, I guess you could say, immediate criticism about that? Because there is a lot of talk on the internet about the reptilians and, their kind of polarities and stuff like that. Has there been some people that were kind of spooked in regards to you telling more about who Treb is?
Oh, sure. Yeah, most definitely. I still to this day get comments, he's a reptilian, you can't trust him. Yeah, and Treb's he talks openly about other reptilian groups that aren't so benevolent, they're more malevolent types and negative type entities. And I think that's another thing, too, that separates Treb's material from some of the other material I checked out before. A lot of the more famous channelers that have been around, they don't like to talk about those things. And Treb's careful when he does, because he doesn't like to promote fear. He doesn't like to promote more worry, because he knows that just manifests more through thought and mind. But, yeah, I mean, people have criticized. They've been downright, pretty mean, pretty upset. A lot of them were genuinely concerned for me. They're telling me that, if I connect to them, I'm going to turn evil. And quite the opposite happened, so I'm glad to see it.
Well, it's also a funny story as well, too, because when I was first channeling Adronis and I was doing videos, I was actually searching around for any channels on YouTube to see if anybody was talking positively about, the reptilians and all that. And when I got into a channeling state with Adronis one day doing automatic writing, he said that you really need to stop seeing the whole idea of reptilians in a state of one polarity, because every race is different. There will be certain groups out there that relate to, agendas that may not be of our, best interests, but there are many reptilian beings out there that are wonderful healers, that are wonderful speakers, that are really wonderful teachers and sharing a lot of this information. And when I posted this, everybody was just coming up to me and saying, Brad, what are you talking about? These are reptilians and all that stuff. And I said, really, you need to go back and you need to listen to the video more. And actually what I did get was actually quite a few of the big time channels, like I think Magenta Pixie was one, or a couple other ones, coming up to me and saying congratulations for putting something like that out there, because there's really not that much information in regards to people who will give more of an omniscient view to the reptilians. And that's what I've told everybody. I said, you need to stop thinking of these reptilians as just one-sided polarity. Because, I mean, if we were to do that, what would make the extraterrestrials, in that sense, want to look at planet Earth and make us think that we're all irresponsible, we're immature, we don't know how to look after our planet, we don't know how to take care of ourselves, we don't know how to take care of each other. That's the same kind of cosmic racism. So you really have to, that's what I would just suggest to everybody, is just being very, very careful. And it's not about, what the kind of skin that a being wears. It's really about the message and the message that stands out. So I'm actually really glad to see that you're communicating with a reptilian that has such wonderful information and his presence itself is just absolutely mesmerizing, and you can tell that there's a lot of love with that being.
Well, thank you. I've worked hard to get my connection with him to a lot better of a state. Like I said, in the early parts it was rough, but now the connection comes through great. It's a nice and clear connection, and when people talk to him, his energy just exudes that love, and they take it up and they love that because his energy is so loving and caring, and you could tell just by listening to the information that he's a real great entity, and he. I think one of the reasons that he chose me, when I ask him why me, I'm just a normal person, not special in any means, and that was my mindset when I first connected to him. And he said, the same way that people have looked at you, they will look at me. You have thick skin because you're used to being looked at in a certain way from when I was disconnected and, really bad, and everybody turned their backs on me. So, I think that's one of the parts of the reasons that he connected to me too.
Mm-hmm. Has there been a particular information that Treb has revealed to you in regards to, I guess you could say, his origin, like in regards to perhaps his density, if he's living on a planet, anything like that?
Oh, sure. Yeah, he's in the 5th density, and this is where it gets a little sticky because, like, when you look at the law of 1, they have a set of densities from 1 to 6 or 1 to 5, and then it goes into non-physical from 6 and above, I believe.
Yeah.
With him, the way he... Oh, what was that? I'm sorry.
Yeah, quasi-physical in the 4th and 5th, and then moving into the non-physical in the 6th, which would represent the state of the higher self, and then the 7th going into the state of the oversoul. So, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, this is kind of the same way with Treb. They describe 1 through 6 as physical. The higher you are, the less physical you are. And then the 7th is oversoul and then planetary consciousness.
Yeah.
He labels himself as a 5th density being. The origin of his race comes from a humanoid, a really short psychic humanoid race. He's never said their true name, what they call themselves, but he said that they were from a star called Nihal, or Beta Leporis, which is actually in a constellation right below Orion. So this is their origin. They mix themselves with a 2nd density, a small animal type, reptilian being, and that's how Treb's race came to be. They're like a really, really great, like a first type dense entity race. They're really same as he is, benevolent, highly psychic. They teach, they love, So that's their origin specifically.
Are they part of a specific group? Like usually you'll hear people like channels talking about the Galactic Federation of Light, or other channels like Adronis himself talking about the Association of Worlds. Is there a particular group that he is a part of, or are they doing this more into their own individual basis?
They're in a subgroup of what he calls the Galactic Council. The Galactic Council is the main group within the whole galaxy, and then there's tons of subgroups. The Association of Worlds is one of them. He's not into that one. It's another subgroup. He never gives it a name. He just says he's in one of the subgroups. And, they're mixing in with hundreds of different races, trying to connect out to other entities, other worlds, other beings.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's a question here on chat stating that because you're channeling a reptilian being, does this mean that your soul has parallel lives as a reptilian?
Well, yeah, the way Treb describes me is that he's a higher part of consciousness within my oversoul, and that I do have probable future reptilian pathways, yeah.
Mm-hmm. So I guess you could say that Treb would be kind of like an aspect of a parallel self existing in another dimension for you.
Right, yep.
Yeah. Excellent. So what have you learned in regards to this long span that you have with Treb? How have you said that your life really transformed a lot. What improvements did you start to notice in your life after meeting Treb and having this kind of interaction?
Well, the changes are so extreme. I mean, it's hard to put them all into one short thing. I mean, every aspect, literally. The way I handle people, the way I think, thinking of love compared to now, what I understand about true love, relationships, wanting to help people instead of only myself, seeing that, separation is only as much as we have in our brain. That's the only kind of separation we really deal with. So,
right.
I mean, literally black and white from night to day, complete changes in every aspect of my life.
Has there been other entities, so to speak, that Treb has kind of introduced you to that kind of share in regards to the stream of channeling that you go to? Like, say, for example, if there was another being on his planet that wanted to come through and share some information, has that occurred by any chance?
Oh, yes, quite a few times. I did a book with a fellow named Jefferson Viscardi. I think you've got a book with him, too, or co-written a book with him. He's a great guy, and through his workings, he always talked to Treb about bringing more people in and talking to him, and Treb would facilitate that. So literally on the first book, there was probably over a dozen of them, and since then, there's been more. Like when people have a session with Treb, Treb will bring in aspects of their higher self or parallel existences to them, so that they have a better personal understanding of their oversoul and communicate more directly with them. It's more comfortable for the person asking the questions. Treb's done that. And there's one specific one which I really have fallen in love with. His name is Aridif, and he's an entity from the star called Deneb, which is in the constellation Cygnus. And this is beautiful. He's a sixth entity. He's the last stop before non-physical, and he is just brilliant. I mean, in the first book is where I was introduced to him directly. I've heard of him before that. Treb's always talked about him, mentioned him, but I got a chance to really experience him during that book, and that was probably the most profound 20-some pages in the whole book, is just where Aridif spoke and shared such great and vast knowledge. I think that was the highlight of the whole book, and I really appreciate him. And since then, I've been able to channel him 4 or 5 times separately, and I continue to work on that. I'm practicing on it now, directly connecting with him, so I don't have to use Treb for a buffer.
So it's basically the way that you can, without having to go into the channeling state, that Treb does communicate with you more kind of on a subconscious to conscious level at times where you may have a question that may be pondering within your mind, and you can literally just ask that question, and do you feel like that response is coming in? Perhaps it maybe comes through a dream state, or if it's some sort of kind of like afterthought feeling that you get?
Sometimes in that, and I do feel integration a lot, especially in the last 6 months. I felt a real severe integration with Treb's consciousness to mine. But in the day-to-day aspects of life, I see it more as in things that I don't think I have an answer for. I tend to get them a lot quicker. And I know that that's the integration of the higher self coming in, along with Treb's aspect of my higher self coming in. And I'm getting answers quickly. I'm able to help people more fluently, and I felt that really strongly in the last 6 months.
Yeah, and I think this is kind of the precursor of moving into like a conscious matrix state, because basically those are the signs that a lot of the entities will do, is they'll kind of configure you to the point where right now they're functioning as a prism, where a lot of this information is being fed, and they're literally being this liaison. And what I feel is like within the next little while, you'll probably be able to have this ability to openly, consciously communicate with your soul matrix, and as I feel a lot of people are moving into that level.
That's what I'm hoping for. I've heard people talk about integration, people who channel, and that's something I want to do. And right now, that's something I thought I would have to work on it, but it's just happening naturally. And I think that's a beautiful thing.
Absolutely. That's kind of like my next step. Like after December 21st, 2012, my conclusion with Adronis happens, and then I move into the new theme of conscious matrix communication. And it was all part of an integration. It took me 4 years. So, everybody has their own pace in regards to do it. Some can pick it up quickly. Some may require a little bit longer. But that's really what they're attempting to do, is they're giving you full integration knowledge in regards to what you're experiencing. But again, such amazing work that you're bringing out with Treb, and it's really amazing that you're bringing this out publicly for a lot of people to share with. So do you mind if you wanted to get into the state and you could bring Treb through? I think you said it probably takes about 3 or 4 minutes for you to get into the state.
Yeah, about 3 to 5 minutes.
Okay. So what I'll do is if you want to go ahead and get into the state, and I will mute your microphone because I think you said that you go into some pretty noisy pre-channeling states. So yeah, I'll go ahead and I'll do you the service of just muting your microphone, and then I'll check back with you in 3 minutes, and we'll see if Treb's ready then.
All right, thanks.
All right, no problem. Here we go. All right, so thank you very much, everybody, for tuning in to the Adronis Morning Show. Rob is just going to be about 3 to 5 minutes to bring in Treb. So everybody that's tuning in right now, if you have a question for Treb, I would recommend you can either write that down on the online chat. Again, you cannot write questions if you're a guest. You would need to create an account with Blog Talk Radio, and then you can come on to the flash chat, and you can ask your question. Or the best way to do it, really, is to do our call-in number. The call-in number is 323-679-0927. That's 323-679-0927. If you have a question for Treb, you can go ahead and you can ask it on the air, as Treb is happy to present this information over the air. So again, this is the first time that we've actually had another live channel on the Adronis Morning Show, so making history on this channel. How about that? So I'm just going to give Rob about another 2 minutes here, and then I'll be checking in. So some announcements that I'm going to do in the meantime is that we have the Contact Assembly, Teachings of the Law of One, that is going to be happening this coming Sunday. It's going to be starting at 12 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. What I'm going to do is I'm going to be giving away 1 free registration spot over the air today. All you have to do is just drop me an email at info@areyourselfempowered.com and just answer the following question. What density does Treb exist in? What density does Treb exist in? When you're able to answer this through email, again, it has to be email, it can't be through chat or anything like that, please email it to me, info@areyourselfempowered.com. I will email you back to confirm that you have won the free registration for the Contact Assembly. And it's going to be a really amazing event. We're going to have Carla Ruckert, who is the channeler of the Law of One series, channeler of Ra, who will be there. We have Sandra Sneed, who is also going to be who is also known as the God Scribe. She's going to be there as well. We're also going to have Sean Swanson, another person who my good friend Jefferson Viscardi has done a book with. He channels the Yael contact known as Aishua. So he will be there as well too. And also I will be channeling Adronis as well and talking more about conscious matrix communication. So again, look forward to that event. If you want more information, all you have to do is go to www.areyourselfempowered.com and you can just click on the banner there and you can be taken directly to the registration page and register. It is $8 to join, and it is about a 4 to 4.5 hour event. It's fully interactive, and through all of the people who participate, you will have the unlimited ability to access it on demand whenever you like. So it's going to be a really amazing event, a lot of interaction. Feel free to check it out. Okay, we also do have another caller on the air, so I'll just give that caller just have to say, you have to wait a couple of minutes just so we can bring Treb on. But I'm just going to check back here with Rob to see how he's doing. Treb, are you ready?
Good morning, Brad.
Good morning, Treb. Thank you very much for being here. I really appreciate it. How have you been doing this day of your time?
I'm doing very well. And how are you doing this morning?
Absolutely wonderful. And it's absolutely fantastic to have you on the air this morning. So what I wanted to ask you, Treb, is if you wanted to give a bit of an introduction to yourself in regards to those who may not be fully aware of you right now. What can you tell us about yourself?
Yes. My name is Treb Bor Yit NE. I am 370 of your years of age. I am a reptilian hybrid entity, half of the reptilian animal, half of the Neo. I am living on a star that you would call Capella, but when you are seeing Capella, you are seeing one star, and this is a 2 stars that are double, so a double binary pair that are rotating in a central point of gravity. And within these, there are 2 large stars similar to yours, approximately 10 times the size of yours. And there are 2 very small red ones, in which your scientists call red dwarfs. And within this pair of 2 reds, There is one that is slightly larger than the other. And in the larger of these two, there are 9 planets. And within these 9 planets, on the third from the star outward, this is the planet on which my people reside. We are a race of approximately 36 million in a complete population. And if you are seeing light year as a standard measurement, then this is approximately 40 of your light years from your star to ours.
Excellent, excellent. Now, in regards to the name Treb Bor Yit NE, I imagine this isn't actually your name, but it would be perhaps a configuration that may relate to Rob. Is that correct?
Yes, there are many ideas for this name, and as you are aware, within our identity, there is no verbal speech or communication. It is done with what we would call telepathy. And because this lack of language, there is no names that are needed. It is only energetic, no need for a separate identity.
Yes.
This is a name that I give to the host as representation of energy. It has many meanings, but the greatest is in separation, Treb and Bor and Yit NE, each individually having one specific meaning for each. The Treb is referring to the family, the genome that I exist in. Bor is from the portion of the planet, as you would say, hemispheres. This is the location of my planet. When you are looking at the word Yit, this is the very specific planet, the third planet from the outside or from the inside to the out. And the Ne is the star, the one that is the largest red dwarf. This is a great way for him to remember the location and direction and people in which I come from, along with many other representations.
Oh, excellent. Now, there's one question here on the online chat here, that when Rob channels you, is Rob himself able to see the world that you reside, or is he simply receiving more of your direct energy transmission?
The way that the host experiences this is in several different ideas. There are specific times in which he will connect to me in an astral projected state, and this is one in which he is able to see the planet that I reside upon as a projection of my consciousness to him, as well as many other races or different entities in which you would see to be animal or plant, or even within the depths of space. Anything that I have direct connection to or have experienced, I am able to project to him, so he's able to feel all of this experience.
Oh, excellent, excellent. Now, in regards to your civilization, has your civilization been in contact with Earth, perhaps, I guess what we could say roughly in the past or in the present, anything of that nature?
There has been no direct connection. There has been what you would say a willfully subjective distance that is given, where love is being sent, support for your people in a non-physical contact way, but we are not one of the reptilian races that have actually interacted in a more physical idea with the human entities.
So in regards to other channels, are there other channels that may exist on Earth, other hosts, that are also in communication with other members of your civilization?
There is one other entity that resides upon Earth now who has directly connected to another from my planet. And this person has not wished to share their ability at this time, but soon will come forward.
Excellent. Oh, thank you very much, Treb. One other question here from the chat room says, how can we get in touch with such reptilian souls? Is there some kind of a dial tone, quote-unquote, meditation or image that we should focus on? I have strong bonds with reptilians, which I would like to explore more.
Yes, there is a very easy way to do this. There are two ways that I have given the host. There is a series of stars that are being sent into a mantra. This is one way, but the more complex because you must hear the tones to match this. The easiest way for most entities is to look at a pattern that symbolizes the constellation of our planet from yours. The constellation in your term is called Origai. And when you are focusing on the direct symbol of this and pointing directly into the brightest star in the constellation, which is Capella, this focuses all of your energy and intent directly towards this, which makes accessibility, it is a calling to us. It makes accessibility much more easy.
So basically the whole idea would be, in that sense, to envision your constellation within the stars around that area to make a connection in that way.
Yes.
Absolutely. Very good. Very similar to how I channel Adronis in that sense. Sometimes he will bring forward a symbol, or sometimes he will just say, look into the dog star, the Sirius A star as well, too, as that represents a very strong divine connection as well. So thank you very much, Treb. And would you like me to bring in some callers? Some callers may have some questions for you.
Yes, whenever you are ready to begin with questions, you may do this.
All right, excellent. So we'll bring in our first caller here. We have caller with unknown. Hello, welcome to the Adronis Morning Show. Hello.
Hi, this is William from North Dakota, and I have a two-part question for Treb, if he's able to take it.
Yes, feel free.
Treb, my first question is revolving around or about 2012. What are your thoughts and your feelings on what may or may not occur in a positive or a negative light on 2012?
The idea of 2012 is a precipice of energy that is given from the Galactic Center, which is also its own individual collective entity. This energy that is given helps you with an ascensional process from what you would say to be a third to fourth density area. During this transition, consciousness is given more. The amount of consciousness that you use and have is not all that you will be able to use within the fourth. So there is a growing of consciousness given from the Oversoul. This gives you much greater aspects of yourself. But what will or will not happen, this is not something that I am able to express because it is not written into the stone. The actions and thoughts of every individual, along with a collective consciousness, is what dictates these ideas. The ideas to focus on being happy, not processing ideas of fear, and then you will not manifest these ideas of fear. You will only manifest happiness and love, and also to bring you an idea that the earth as a consciousness is dividing itself into two separate areas. And as this happens, you are choosing a path of negative or positive. And when you are doing this, whichever you are most in touch with, if you are negative, you will find yourself in a disconnected portion of this earth. And if you are positive, then you will find yourself in a highly connected. Either way that you choose, you will be growing in this way, and you will see an increase of positivity around the ones around you and a decrease of negativity. And in the opposite, you are seeing the opposite. It is basically a purging of the negative existence or the ego parts of you within humanity as a whole.
Did you have a second question?
Yes, the second question is basically a question about organized religion. Is that a deterrent or a negative or a positive for the planet to grow and grow spiritually in the future?
This is greatly depending on the entity in which is using this religious idea. If it is blocking them from being able to stay open to ideas, this is not a great idea. But if this religious idea brings them more morality, more goodness and kindness, or more of what they wish to do, then this can be helpful in this way. Each individual existence has their own validity, regardless of the area of consciousness in which it chooses. So if you are seeing or wishing to have a more open existence, if you are wishing to have a highly corrective or highly connected to other entity existence, both of these may work for you. depending on the belief systems that you have and what your state of being is in the time of choices.
All right. Well, thank you very much. I appreciate your time, Treb, and I appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
Thank
you so much, William, for calling, and I appreciate it. All right, so we're going to move on to our next caller here. I'm just going to bring this other caller in. Hello, caller. You are live with the Adronis Morning Show. Hello.
Hello. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Hello.
Okay. Hi, Treb. This is Hank from Tortola in the British Virgin Islands. Basically, I want to know how a belief in something can transcend the laws of physical reality to allow the seemingly impossible, or what we would call miracles.
Yes, this is very easy to explain. The way that you see miracles to happen is something that happens outside of your belief, outside of the realm of possibilities or probabilities that you have decided to make within your own existence. And when you are able to break these ideas and self-limitations, then you'll be able to achieve what you would once have thought of as a miracle. But at the time that you do achieve this, it is no longer a miracle. It is a well-known probability. And this is the idea of how strong the consciousness of belief systems are, and this shows you how strong the mind is. As long as it is not breaking the specific rules of the universe that you are within, then anything is possible to do. The only thing that is not possible to do is to limit yourself and then be able to break the limits that you have placed unless you remove them belief-wise and also mentally.
Okay. Thank you very much, Treb. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Yes, you're very welcome.
Excellent. All right, some excellent questions there. I guess one question that was being brought forward in the chat room here, Treb, was that some people feel that do other entities have the power to infiltrate a person's astral body so as to affect their consciousness? What I think what's being said here is that the alcohol on our planet at times that was once known as spirits would, in that sense, really open up one's crown chakra, and that there have been particular entities that have been earthbound, discarnate in that sense, that would utilize that for, I guess you could say, energy feeding. Has there been any particular perspective here that you can share on this?
Yes, this is a true statement. The crown chakra becomes wide open, and the level of consciousness that you have in the intoxication state is very low comparatively, much as a dream state where your consciousness is being projected outwardly, leaving room for other consciousnesses to be added. But on some level, there has to be an understanding or agreement upon this. And there also has to be a great belief system when you are speaking directly in the astral state. There are many humans who speak of the ideas of possessions or astral projected attacks. All of this is a belief system. There are interactions on a non-physical level at all states, but they are all agreed upon by higher self and in a subconscious way. So they are not truly attacks, only interactions.
Yes, basically in that whole idea. So say, for example, through one's own journey in regards to where these quote-unquote psychic attacks may occur, it is all part of, in regards, a lesson to be learned relating to the attack in question, so to speak, that literally was brought together in cohesion in spirit.
Yes.
Absolutely. Very good. Now, Treb, in regards to you yourself, where do you see yourself interacting with the human race, I guess you could say, within our future? Has there been will there be an opportunity, a window of time, I guess you could say, in our not-too-distant future where we are able to interact with you much more in a physical way, or something that we would understand as physical?
Yes, it will not be what you human would think is a short period of time. The first interaction that will be made with humans at the highest probability of the energy as it sits now is more tending to be entities who look much as you do. It is a great understanding from the Galactic Council that any entity who enters another system, when there are many who do not believe that other entities exist outside of their own realm, if it does not look in some way close to the native race, then it would be very shocking or very discomforting for the race who is being connected to. And because of our physical appearance, if our race is to manifest themselves into a third density projective state, we are not looking very close to your lookings at all, and perhaps even to some ideas, those who are having predetermined ideas in their own mind of what a reptilian is, this could be very fearful. So the most highest probability or window is much after 13 years from this point. This is the highest probability as it stands, but this may always change.
So it's basically just kind of looking at it, as a child that is attempting to mature. You really don't want to bring anything in regards to that state that may cause a deep state of shock. So it's basically nurturing them along in regards to having, I guess you could say, somewhat familiar faces that exist within our star system that may have a very high populace relating to that of humanoid presence.
Yes, this is very well said and very correct.
Absolutely. So again, that's very exciting news in regards to the 13 years ahead. There has also been a lot of discussion in regards to other channels that one of the first races that will make contact with the humans will be that of the Yahyel. Do you have any particular information in relating to the Yahyel and these particular hybrid races of the Greys, so to speak, and the humans?
Yes, with the entities that are known to be the Yahyel, these are at the highest probability the very first entities who will connect to humans due to their connection, not only in a physical manner, but energetically. They have been with your race and planet for quite some time, watching and nurturing, sending love and communication, and are still doing this in a non-physical sense, such as I am doing with the host now. So this is the highest probability of this. And there are many versions of what you would say the Greys to be, or what you would call the Greys. There are many aspects of these, and many of them are malevolent, and many of them are also benevolent. So using this term, in which Greys are you speaking of?
That's the big question. I think that's what a lot of people may not be too certain of. A lot of them may represent the idea of the Greys that may still be of soul, that are attempting to preserve their race in regards to creating a lot of these hybridized experiments in regards to visitations with other humans to preserve their race, and that there have been basically 3 generations of these particular beings themselves. There is also the channel known as Bashar that exists as the 3rd generation of this race, known as the Sasani. There is the first, of course, the original that represents the Yahyel. From what Adronis has shared as well, too, he has nicknamed the 2nd generation the Telemara. And so these basically just represent generational hybrids of the Greys, so to speak, because there's no real specificity in regards to which Greys we're talking about. But what is assumed is that these are the particular Greys that are still incarnated with spirit, that are, in that sense, decaying, or I guess you could say declining their particular numbers naturally in an attempt to preserve their race.
Yes, and what is it that you wish to know of these?
We just wanted to know if you had any information in regards to the Yahyel, or if you are familiar with the hybridization program.
Yes, these are coming from the Greys that some would call the Zeta Reticuli. Yes, this is the one in which sexual reproduction has been eliminated from their race, and they are using hybrids to convey their race into a future stamp. Yes, and what I spoke of, the Yahyel in the previous time, this is what is known of them, and this is the highest probability of connection to human race.
Yes. Now, in regards to yourself, you stated that you are a reptilian hybrid. Now, could you speak a little bit more in regards to the hybridization process that your civilization has gone through? Has there been a seed race to which you originated from?
Yes, the seed race is a direct hybrid, or our race is a direct hybrid from the Nihil, the ones who live on the stars that you would know to be Nihal, they are no longer in a physical existence, as they were in a higher density when they connected to us. And as our growth through a third density and fourth density, their growth outside of physical existence, and the specific type of animal is one that looks much as your Komodo dragon would look, but much larger. There is a very specific animal in your history, one that would appear to be before the dinosaurs, but is looking similar to this Komodo dragon. I am not sure of the name that you use for this, but it is most definitely the closest that your Earth has for us.
So you stated that you stated that this was a life form before the dinosaurs. Is that what you stated?
This is what our race, second density animal, that was connected from the Nihal. This is what it appeared to look as. This is the closest representation you have on your planet. Mm-hmm. Yes, and through this, it was a direct connection of this. It was done for several reasons from the Nihal. One of the reasons that these Nihal are a probable future version of what humans are to be, and there is a great understanding that the reason that they are connecting to a reptilian type animal is to show ones in the future existences. Many races follow the idea of the reptilian negativity idea. So this was going to show all entities who have this belief or who have had negative experiences with the other reptilian, such as the ancient reptilians, that reptilian can be very peaceful and very benevolent.
Absolutely. Well, this is absolutely wonderful information, Treb, and I wanted to thank you so much on behalf of myself and everybody else listening today. Thanking you so much for coming by, and much love, appreciation, and gratitude to both yourself and to Rob.
Yes, it is a very great experience and very pleasurable, and I will leave you this morning in love and in light, and we will connect to each other or speak to each other very soon.
Thank you very much. Namaste.
Goodbye.
All right, so we'll just give a moment for Rob to come back. And what an incredible experience this was. And I want to thank both callers that came in to present this great questions as well, too. Also, some great questions on the chat. Rob, how are you feeling?
I'm doing all right. How did everything go?
It was fantastic. It was really great information. Definitely one of the best shows I think we've had on here. So,
great.
Again, this is kind of like making our history through Adronis Morning Show. That there's another channel who's actually coming on and channeling besides me with Adronis. So that's great.
Great.
So,
I'm glad to hear that.
Oh yeah, absolutely. So, how can people get a hold of you? Do you have a website?
TrebChanneling.com is the website that I post all the videos to. There's 2 ways to contact me, one for private sessions and one for what me and a friend I have named George. He asked the questions for a question and answer type forum. We call it the open forum, and you could send 1 questions in there on TrebChanneling.com, plus on YouTube if you type in Treb Channeling, 2 separate words. My channel will pop right up, and then you'll be able to see all the videos. We've got, I think, over 50 of them that are open and free for everyone to look at. So if you're interested in the channel, go there.
Absolutely, and I would highly recommend Rob to if you're looking to do channeling, as I'm kind of moving past the channeling phase. I would definitely send you guys over to Rob to give you guys some really great information coming through Treb. Definitely a very wonderful and divine loving being. So thank you again, Rob, for being here on the show today. I really appreciate that, and I hope you have an amazing day the rest of the day.
Well, I appreciate it too, and I thank you for giving the opportunity to share the greatness that Treb's given to me with everyone else. That's the reason I'm doing this, and I appreciate you giving me a format to do that and sharing your love too.
Oh, absolutely. Believe me, you'll have lots of opportunities coming down the road. That's for sure.
All right. Well, thank you. I appreciate it, Brad.
Thank you so much, Rob. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll talk to you again soon. We'll definitely have you on again, the Adronis Morning Show.
All right. Well, I'll be on again. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you so much. Take care. Bye.
All right. Bye.
All right, everybody, we're going to go to a quick break, and when we come back, we're going to work on the momentum of energies, and Adronis is going to be coming in as well, too, to conclude the show. So we're just going to take a very brief break, and we'll be back in a moment.
If you want to stay up to date with everything going on inside ATW, Awakening Truth Worldwide, you can join us on Facebook at facebook.com/Awakening Truth Worldwide. Here you'll find updates about upcoming live and on-demand online workshops, as well as conferences, special guests, and upcoming radio shows. There's so much to explore, so stay up to date at facebook.com/Awakening Truth Worldwide. Like our page and take the next step along your path of awakening.
All right, we are back on the Adronis Morning Show. Again, we just had Rob Gauthier, who is the official channel of Treb Bor Yit NE, and he is a benevolent reptilian human hybrid. And again, Rob's website is www.trebchanneling.com, and he is offering private sessions as well too. So definitely check out his work. He is also on YouTube as well too. You can basically just type in Treb Channeling on the Google search bar on YouTube, and you'll be able to stumble upon his videos. A fantastic channel, one of the best I've seen actually. It's fantastic. He has a lot of great information. Never loses his cool. Really, it's fantastic. So he's doing an exceptional job. Show your support. Go ahead and communicate with Rob. This is probably the highest recommendation of a channel I would give to anybody. I would actually give more of a recommendation to Rob than I would with Bashar. That's how good he is. That's just my own personal opinion. So definitely check out Rob and support his cause. I believe he does do free private sessions, but it's always good to leave donations behind because he is taking a lot of money taking a lot of time out of his way to working along with everybody. So just show your appreciation, and donations are always welcome with Rob, just to give him a good compliment and an equal exchange of what he's doing as well too. So Rob, again, thank you so much for being on the show. It was a blessing to have you, brother. Okay, so now we're going to move on to the momentums of energy. So I just have my tarot deck here, which I basically just use for these particular situations. So we're just going to ask about the energies coming up for this week, leading up from this Friday, moving on until next Friday with the next Adronis Morning Show. Also, what I'll mention as well is that the Adronis Morning Show will be changing its name officially after December 22nd, which will be called the Expanse Morning Show. I was originally going to call it the Conscious Matrix, but then I got the download of calling it the Expanse, as it's all about expanding knowledge and wisdom together. So it will be called the Expanse Morning Show. So let's see where we are today in regards to the form of energies. All right. We have first card. Let me just draw that up again. That's not quite the one that I was feeling. Okay. So we got two cards coming in here. First card that we get is known as the Eight of Air. And the Eight of Air is an illusion of being trapped, a lack of self-confidence, afraid to take action. And the second card is the Five of Earth. Fears surrounding money, the wisdom to accept help from others, uncertain self-employment. All right, so again, a lot of the collective energies here do represent points of being certainty, or maybe a lot of people caught up in the illusion today. The whole idea of maybe there's not enough stability going on in regards to work, or starting a whole new path. So that basically just represents a lot of the energy. There may be some people in panic mode this morning, and actually I can relate to that because there was actually a feeling of panic in the sense of people who are around me this morning, just really feeling uncertain, or what's lying ahead. But I also get what's known as the High Priestess, which also states, listen to your intuition, have patience, consider carefully what you want before acting. So that's really the resolve in regards to that situation. Just moving more into the state of your centering, allowing yourself to look at, polarity in the sense, the negative and the positive, that you do not have to personally assign to one particular polarity. Bring yourself into the conjunction point of balance, and listen to yourself, listen to your heart. And if you feel that there are some rough tides happening in your life today or in the next few days, really just look into the whole understanding of where you are and let your heart do the talking rather than the brain. The brain always wants to interject, and it always feels that it's got a plan within a plan within a plan, but it really is just running you around this looping circle. So really look into the idea of how you're able to move more into the vibration of your divine intuition, understand that you're never alone, that there are those friends in higher places, and you really will be able to discover your ability to phase out of that particular circle and moving more into a higher space, representing divine intuition, representing your heart space, and moving into aspects of yourself that you know you've always wanted to explore. So that's basically the momentum of energies for today and for about the whole week. So that's basically what's happening there. So what we're going to do now is we're going to move on to bringing Adronis in, and Adronis will give his information. I don't really know what he'll be discussing today, but something will be coming out of it. Before we move into the Adronis Morning Show, again, feel free to check out areyouselfempowered.com. You'll find that the availability for Adronis is still there up until December 21st, and Conscious Matrix communication sessions are also online. The few Conscious Matrix communication sessions I've done have been absolutely incredible. So again, there's a lot of information coming out, just incredibly profound from what a lot of people have been sharing back. So feel free to check that out as well too at areyouselfempowered.com. All right, so we're going to move in to the channeling state, and I'm going to bring Adronis through. We had one particular entity come through already, so now we're going to bring in the second. So I'll go ahead, bring Adronis in, and we'll get started. It'll just be a moment. We are here at this time, and we bid you greetings, and thank you very much for the opportunity of this interaction today. I am Adronis from Sirius, and we will, in that sense, speak relating to a particular topic today, relating to the connections of your matrix. The whole idea in regards to the special guest that you had, shall we say, previously in regards to this transmission that you are all listening to through your internet collective consciousness, is that you are able to literally connect to other beings, other aspects of what you know your matrix to be, as you have received in regards to the example of utilizing that of the constellations, of utilizing that of the stars, that these are direct energy points. These are direct bridges connecting yourself in regards to that particular transmission that will connect to a collective, that can connect to a liaison of that collective. This is originally how Brad was able to communicate with us. He, in that sense, knew not of our symbol at the time. He only knew of the Sirius A star, the dog star. And upon that time of his concentration through, shall we say, his automatic writing process, he was able to nearly instantaneously connect to our energies, and that we came through to introduce ourselves. That's how it all began. It was shortly afterwards to where he received the blue shield containing the, shall we say, golden tree of light that came in through his dream state. The whole idea was at the beginning was through the bridge of the stars. Your stars are, again, your direct link to your soul matrix. They will connect tangibly in regards to aspects of energies that are within your fields currently, and that they will also speak to you. The stars at night will literally speak to you as a representation in regards to your soul matrix. That the stars will link you in regards to that of which you would know as higher dimensions, non-corporeal reality, communications with the angels, They do not just, shall we say, only represent the idea of communicating with the beings that exist upon those stars, within the planets circling that star. They will also be direct gateways. You will discover that the Sirius A star is that of what you would know as the blue ray frequency, that the blue ray frequency holds, shall we say, a great deal of understanding for many of you that are upon this plane, that are helping you in regards to the calibration of what you are all going through. That through the, shall we say, ordinance of rays that have been upon your planet relating to the times of, shall we say, internal intervention, has related, firstly, to the point of what you would know as the star of Alcyone, that would represent that of the turquoise frequency, or the aquamarine frequency, that began, shall we say, the pioneers that came upon your planet, that represented that of the turquoise frequency, that of what you would know as the throat chakra. Moving on forward then, of course, into that of what you would know as the Sirius A star, which is bound together through the frequency of blue, oceanic blue, deep blue in that sense. The new children that are coming upon your planet right now are functioning through the idea of the Arcturian gateway, which represents a very high violet spectrum, that of which you could relate to the idea of the crown chakra, although many of the newborns coming upon your planet right now are operating within the vibration to which we have called Emushua, and that it is Emushuan light that many of these particular beings are coming through as the highest hue of violet, that are literally coming upon your world, incarnated and literally astounding you in regards to their youthful particular abilities that they possess. Now understand that you really are no different, that you are advancing yourself in that way, that you could liken it to, shall we say, the models of machines that came out, shall we say, a little bit earlier, but are now being upgraded to standard. And that is exactly what's happening with many of you, that those of you who are of the green ray vibration, who are of the turquoise ray of the beginning of the intervention, that those of you who are in the blue ray of intervention, that those of you who are in the violet and Emushuan rays of intervention are all beginning to discover your true connections to the planet. And it is all brought forward through the energies of the stars. For you all have these particular aspects to yourselves, for the galaxy itself is but an expression, representation of what you would understand to be a minute portion of your own soul matrix. That the other galaxies that you will be exploring in the not-too-distant future relating to Andromeda, etc., will only have more portions of yourselves, more pieces of the puzzle that will be brought forward together. That what you know as your astrology will band together in regards to a state of expansion that will bring forward more accuracy relating to the themes that you explore as a galactic civilization. So there is much to look forward to, and that the stars are always communicating with you. They are always willing to share divine information with you, and they are part of your soul matrix. So, what star do you feel the most resonant from? Well, that's a very easy question. Your own home star right now, your planet Earth star, your solar system, your Terran system. Allow yourself to connect directly to your sun, as the sun is the gateway to all knowledge, to all light that truly powers your entire star system. That is where you can begin. And from your own personal star that represents a bridge of your own oversoul consciousness, of your own soul matrix in that degree, you will be pointed to other stars. Stars that are not, shall we say, so popularized on the planet. We're not just talking about Sirius. We're not just talking about Alcyone. We're not just talking about Arcturus. We're not just talking about Deneb. We're not just talking about all of those other particular stars that may be known. There are many other stars that have yet to be seen throughout your galaxy through much of the technologies that you will literally be pointed to, that you can in that sense have symbols or even, shall we say, particular representations of labels to address, that you will know that that star exists, and you will be aware of all the planets that exist within that star, and through the times ahead where you are able to access other points in regards to your galaxy for exploration, you will discover in your databanks that one of you was able to accurately give precise information relating to this star and its, shall we say, associated planets. This is how it works. It's all a connection. It's tapping into the nodes of the energies that represent the galaxies, and that you are able to connect to all of them, and that they are all willing to share, to express, as long as you are able to move into the vibrational, succinct matter of communicating in tandem with them. That's the whole idea. The stars are beings. The planets are beings, just as yourselves, just of a different form. So I thank you very much for the opportunity of this interaction today with all of you. I am Adronis from Sirius, sending love, appreciation, and gratitude to all of you, and to the being known as Rob, and to his channel as well, entity that he would know as Treb. We thank each and every single one of you for this most divine interaction today. Thank you once again. Much love, much gratitude, and we now return to the conduit. Goodbye for now. All right. Thank you very much, everybody, for tuning into the Adronis Morning Show today. I hope you have had a wonderful time connecting here and talking to Rob, and, of course, everything else in between. So I will see you all next week, and again, feel free to check out the Contact Assembly happening this Sunday. Again, more information is on www.areyourselfempowered.com. And again, if you want a free registration, remember the question that has been asked: what density does Treb reside? So if you can email me that question, and the first email that comes in at the earliest point will be the winner of a free registration spot with the Contact Assembly this Sunday, and you will be contacted very shortly. Thanks again, everybody. Email again is info@areyourselfempowered.com. That's AREYOUSELFEMPOWERED.com. Thanks again. See you all next week. Much love, much blessings to you all. Namaste.
Thank you for listening to the Adronis Morning Show. Please feel free to visit our website to book Adronis private sessions, documented Akashic